Since high school, I had a group of friends with whom I got along really well at school. Sometimes we argued, sometimes we fought a little, but we kept being friends. Each of them went on to live their own lives. One got married, another moved to another country, another had 3 kids and is single, and another is still studying and working on her own. And me looking for my own path, working, enjoying my youth, just like another friend of mine. In fact, we go out a lot, we have fun, we do our own things because we're the single ones, let's say, in the group. Every time we meet up with our friends, we meet without our husbands. That way we can feel comfortable, joke around, talk about whatever we want, and live our lives. Well, then one of those friends, the affectionate one who's married, started making a kind of women's group, but she never invited me or any of the other friends from our group. We started to notice this, that, for example, they went to an end-of-year get-together, like they met up at a bar, everyone was there, right? We started to realize that we hadn't been invited, but that's okay. Then it happened again, right? They went on a trip, everyone went to the lake to have fun. They didn't invite us either. And then, over time, this couple bought a place in the country, a really beautiful one. They would have barbecues almost every weekend. And by the way, they never invited us, but in our group, they kept being loving and affectionate, inviting us to go out, going to restaurants, just like we used to do, just us. At one of those get-togethers, I asked my friend, those hangouts you're having, those girls' nights that you're not inviting us to, what's up? Why aren't you inviting us? She said, girl, the other girls are all married and they have a real thing against other women. And since you girls are single, sometimes it looks like I'm bringing women to the party, and I wouldn't want them bringing others either. So we agreed it would just be us. Not even our partners bring single friends, and just because we're women, we don't bring our single girlfriends either. We decided to keep the hangouts separate. Honestly, I get it, but damn, that's some serious insecurity, Like, there will always be parties and people around, but it's okay. I understand. To avoid being the only single person with married couples, I just imagined it as married people cheating with each other. But of course I didn't say anything, I just stayed quiet and kept imagining, okay, until this friend of mine had a birthday party and she couldn't not invite me. Everyone went, her husband's friends, her friends, people who weren't part of the couple's group. We got to her birthday party, everyone was relaxed, everyone was happy. Me and my friend, beautiful, single, powerful, surrounded by all those Durandier guys, and I keep wondering, do I look like a mistress for these ladies to believe I want something with their Durandier guys? Seriously, the day I show up here with a man, I'm going to show up with a real man. I'll show up looking gorgeous, looking hot, with a guy my height, so they can see the kind of man I go for, that I don't go for just anyone. If I wanted to be married, I would be. Options aren't lacking, but that wasn't the point. It was about quality. I wanted quality. The ones available were average, and I know I'm extraordinary, so I'm not going to settle for someone ordinary. But okay, I went there, I stayed, and at this party, that's how it started. So it was a birthday, everyone sitting in their little chairs, barbecue, a little something here, a little something there. Then the real party started with loud music and everything, and they turned off the lights and all that stuff. And what I noticed is that the group of women, they all get together in a little corner and stay in their own group, while the men all stay in their own group too. And I didn't really have a way to, let's say, fit in with either group because the girls kind of stayed in their group and kept an eye on me, but didn't include me. They would close off when I arrived, talking at first, then suddenly leaving for the bathroom, a drink, or something else, and the group would break up. So I started to realize that maybe my friend and I weren't really that welcome. And exactly what happened was that the married guys there, from what I noticed, they were like this. They were drinking and looking at you, they're just there and looking at you. So what happens? If you glance ahead and see the guy looking at you, you just keep going because you know he's married. But honestly, without any shame, the guy just won't stop checking me out or checking out my friend. The guy was practically drooling over us, and obviously his wife noticed. And his wife, instead of arguing with him, started picking a fight with my friend, not even with me, but with my friend. She started making a scene, asking what was going on. You come to a married people's party just to show off for married men. You're single, you should be hanging out at single people's parties, and it became a mess. My friend stepped in, argued with the girl, and said, "Calm down, this isn't just any party, it's my birthday, know your place, okay?" And then, it's because she's hitting on my husband and my friend, she defended my other friend, saying, "I doubt she hit on your husband, get a grip, whether you like it or not." Her husband was really ugly anyway. And my friend knew the kind of guys we went for, you know? So there was all this drama, this whole mess, and it got really awkward. The vibe was totally off, but we didn't leave. We kept enjoying our night out. But we understood that even if there wasn't an open rivalry before, now she had raised the flag saying, "I am your rival." No problem. We kept saying, "We didn't do anything. Honestly, we're not interested in anyone. It wasn't a fight." My friend even said, "If I had done something, I would even apologize, but I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything, like I just exist. So just because I exist, I have to apologize." Oh, all right then, cool, right? That had happened, and after that, we kind of saw each other on social media, like each other's posts and stuff like that. There was always some gossip going on, a little gossip here and there. But then one of my friends from our other friend group decided she was going to get married. We were a group of 5 or 6 girls. So I say 5 or 6 because one of them was always coming and going, things like that, you know. She was usually present when we met up, but sometimes she disappeared. Then she decided to get married. And she decided she was going to get married. And she started getting close to the group again. Everyone was there chatting and all that, and it was fine. And she became really good friends with my friend who's married and with my girls who are married. And little by little, without even noticing, she was totally fitting in with our friends' group of friends. Do you get what I mean? But that's okay, because there's no problem at all. If you want to hang out with the married women, you should. That's your life. But then it was time for her bachelorette party, and she rented a party space, did the whole thing. And she put it in our hands, the single girls, to organize the bachelorette party. And we started planning it. We started organizing, like, what can we do? What can't we do, more or less? What do you want? I noticed she was more reserved. So sometimes those straws shaped like a man's private parts. That wouldn't be something she'd like. If it were up to me, we'd have everything a single woman likes. But since she's not single, it's just a bachelorette party. So we took it easy, we organized everything, we had all the little parties, we did everything nice and organized. She was the one who sent the guest list, because she was the one who had to invite people anyway. We just took care of the surprise, the organization, things like that. She arrived, and it was a whole thing. When I started to notice, the friends of our married friends started showing up, the girls from the group who didn't like the single ones. They started arriving, they kept arriving, they kept arriving, they kept arriving, they kept arriving. He's dressed as a woman. Okay, the party's going on, we're drinking, we're having fun. We played a prank on her. We had someone dance like he was gay, so he wasn't a straight guy to be there, you know? We chose a gay guy because it was someone who could do that, who wouldn't be. Some of the married women already started with the drama, saying like, "Wow, you put a man there, why did you do that? I don't know what," and so on. Others were just watching closely. The husband was there, touching the guy's abdomen, thinking he was straight. I was just watching how married women are so hypocritical, you know, but I didn't say anything, I just minded my own business, and that's it. All good, no problem. When it was time for the tribute, I gave it because I was the one who organized it with my friend, so I did it there with her. The other one gave hers. There was a little group that also gave her a bouquet of flowers. All good, everyone was talking. And then one of the girls who was there, who was already a little tipsy, I think she was tipsy, out of nowhere, she just grabbed a drink and poured it all over my back, like on my dress, you know, like she spilled it on my clothes. I was soaked, so I turned and asked, "Hey, what is this?" She started apologizing, and amid the confusion, I asked, "What did you spill? The drink?" It was on purpose. I saw that it was on purpose. Like, it was out of nowhere. She just came and spilled the drink on me. It wasn't because she tripped or anything. She just came out of nowhere and spilled the drink on me, you know? In my mind, she knew exactly what she was doing. There was no innocence. Amid the chaos, some girls defended the other one, and I started arguing back saying, "Wow, seriously. Every time you guys pick a fight with me and my friend, it's so annoying, don't you get it," and all that. And then one of the girls in the back started saying that we were too forward, that we were girls like that. Honestly, I didn't even know her, like she was the sister of a girl who was part of the group. So, you know, who was that girl who was suddenly back there and started saying that we were too forward, that we were no good, that we didn't even belong in the group? I don't know what kind of nonsense this is. I'm getting fed up with this friendship. You know, getting really pissed off, trying to understand what was going on, saying like, this is wrong, I don't know what else. And by the way, our friend who's a mother of 3 kids, she wasn't at the party. She didn't go to that party. She didn't go to the bachelor party because there was no one to stay with her kids. So she didn't go because there was no way to bring the kids either, right? So, okay. After the bachelor party, I was upset, said goodbye and thanked my friend, helped clean up, and everyone left. There was that awkward atmosphere. She was apologizing to me. The girls were apologizing to me. So, okay, fine. She left. And I decided for myself that I wouldn't join in anymore, that I would keep seeing this friend of mine. It was already just a casual event, but now maybe even more so, you know. She might have to split the group since I couldn't stay with those girls. They were really annoying and picky. But who was that girl? So I went to ask my friend later who that girl was who went there to talk about me. Who is she? And she said, oh, she's the sister of the married girl who just joined the group. I said, she's weird. And she agreed, adding that she's dating someone. She said she's not ready to introduce her boyfriend yet. Ella. Her boyfriend. Then I said, wow, that's weird and all. She's not ready to introduce her boyfriend? She went and sent me the girl's profile. So I went to check out this girl's profile to see who she was because I asked too. Then I saw the girl's profile and said, this girl looks familiar. But then I saw that we had mutual friends because her profile was public. When I went to see her mutual friends, I found a friend of mine and then I saw that they followed each other. I sent a message to my friend asking, hey girl, who is this girl? And she said, well, she's a girl I used to work with. I don't know, something like that. She even said, by the way, girl, I really wanted to talk to you. We have to meet up. There's a lot of gossip and stuff. I said, no, so let's meet tomorrow at the coffee shop because I also have gossip, things that happened and all that. We always had things to tell each other. She's a friend who's totally outside of these groups. I went to tell her, but before I could say anything, she turned to me and said, I was still at the birthday party, still talking about the fight because of the guy who was looking at our friend, right? She knows her, but they're not that close. Before I could mention the bachelor party, she said, girl, let me tell you. I shared my story, but she wanted to tell hers. She told me that this girl, the one who had cursed at me and at the other girl, was in love with a guy. She said, girl, she was in love with a guy. She was seeing a guy. She was hooking up with a guy. Then he hooked up with her. And she said to me, girl, I'm seeing a guy and I want you to see him and tell me if you know him. Because this friend of mine, she works with events and she's very serious, so she knows a lot of people. She recognizes everyone's face from events. She's at the best events in the city. So usually we ask her about the guys to know if she's seen them at parties, if she's seen fights between men and women with guys and all that. And then the girl sent her the photo, and when she did, who was it? It was the father of our friend's 3 kids, who's a single mom who wasn't at the party, you know? And the father, he's a jerk, he's good for nothing. And then my friend told him, hey, he's the father of our friend's kids, and so on. He doesn't fulfill his role as a father. He doesn't pay child support. He's a loser, let's be honest. He's a terrible father. He's a terrible guy. She doesn't get involved with him. He makes her suffer. You know, he's no good. He hits on everyone. So she listened to my friend and decided to stop seeing him. And this guy got mad at her, called her all sorts of names, and she started to suffer, you know, because the guy didn't want her anymore and she didn't want him either. It turned into a big mess. The guy started going into her profile and hitting on everyone. Actually, my friend opened her Instagram and showed that just to mess with this girl, he sent likes and heart eyes emojis on my friend's stories. Wow, do you get it? And I was like, oh my God, what a mess. To sum it up, the girl ended up cursing us out because she was getting involved with one of our friend's dad and she was mad at us. Her sister, who had spilled a drink on me. And later I found out that she was the one who had, planned all this mess just to put us down, to really create rivalry and start a fight. Even though we were already rivals and the group split up completely, then the whole story turned into a mess about married women, one hitting on the other, all that stuff. My friend and I were both still beautiful and single. I went to the mother of my nieces, right? And I told her and said, girl, remember the story I told you about the girl who cursed at me and her sister threw something at me? And all that mess, all those girls, well, that girl was getting involved with your ex-boyfriend so-and-so, who she knew who it was. I told her she broke up and I told her everything, right? And then my friend was like, wow, I'm shocked. I can't believe that group of married girls was getting involved with such a terrible guy like that. And they're picking on you because of him, but first of all, it's not just because of them, it's their personalities, okay? One day there was like a store opening. This married friend of mine opened a clothing store, and she invited us to have a get-together inside the store. And then there was going to be a barbecue at her house. She was going to serve lunch. I said, no, it's fine. Let's go support our friend. But I knew all her married friends would be there, since she always posted them wearing the clothes. They were many of her clients. Just like I was too, I said, now I'm really going to prove that these girls are nothing but hypocrisy and ignorance. I went there, brought along a guy I was seeing. Handsome, 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 hot, like, tall, strong, perfect, polite, romantic, gorgeous. I explained the situation to him. He laughed and said, so you're going to use me? I said, yes, I want to use you, a social experiment. Let's go. Let's go. We got to the opening, right? We did everything nicely. We went to the barbecue, girl. When we got to the barbecue, everyone split up, right? The group of women and the group of guys, then, hey, come here, come join our group, sit here and all that. And honestly, my date is really handsome. They wouldn't stop looking at him. They just wouldn't stop, like, they nudged each other, they talked. It's not just in my head, it's just that I think they were so used to having to worry about me. About their husbands looking at him, about their husbands looking at me, about their husbands looking at my friend, about their husbands hitting on us, their husbands starting conversations. They had to keep watch. Even those mediocre husbands of theirs, because those same mediocre husbands would feel a certain way. Like, you could see on their faces the look of dissatisfaction when they saw a gorgeous woman, like me, right? Beautiful, who was always single, hanging out with a handsome, tall guy, the kind of guy they had to look up to see. Everyone had that dumbfounded look on their face. Everyone looked like that. Then I said, look, the girls came to invite me to join their group, and I said, look, let me tell you something. I'm with someone. It doesn't make sense for me to be in a little group with a bunch of women if I have a man like that to hold on to, right? Not me. And then they were like, oh, sure, do as you please. I was like, look, you can look. So we danced there, like danced, ate. He treated me well. And you could see it in their eyes, like the envy. You could see it in their eyes, how bad they were feeling, about their relationships. In short, after I left, right, with everyone treating me like I had never been treated in my life, I was even invited over like, oh, let's go to my place. Another day, I don't know what, and so on. I kept thinking about how the world is, Just because I showed up with someone, I make another woman feel safe. Because the very lado dela não deixa ela se sentir segura. Why would you be in a relationship with someone you have to keep watching, checking who they're looking at and what they're saying? Why would I want to hang out with a group of girlfriends, women who keep putting other women down just because they don't have men who value them? Why would I stay at a party in a group of women, splitting up into little cliques like we're teenagers, with the women in one corner and the men in another? If we're there together, it's to have fun and enjoy ourselves. None of that made sense to me. And then I started to realize that even if one day I get married, even if one day I have a relationship, this isn't the group of friends I want to have. It's not the group of friends I want to be part of. And it's not the kind of married woman I want to be. I believe that being around these girls would poison me more than actually make me feel like I belong. Because yes, many times I've thought about being in a relationship, to belong to the group, to be part of the trips, to be included in everything they do together. But through videos, through photos, it's one thing. When you're there in person, you see it's all petty drama, gossip. The only thing they talk about is bad-mouthing other people's lives, talking badly about single women and single men. And in the end, they're just a bunch of unhappy people. They're women who don't know what a happy marriage is or what it's like to have a man who values them, let alone how to value their own man. So like today, I'm still single, I'm still enjoying my life, and I always bring up this bachelorette party story. Why? Because the rivalry between a married woman and a single woman actually starts when you get married. So if you're gonna get married, be careful not to become that kind of wife, not to become that kind of woman, Remember that you were once single too, and that the time for a single woman to get married might come as well, okay? And that's it. Hi, maquetes. How are you all doing? I like this story because there's definitely competition between married and single women, right? There is this perspective and this view, but it was really nice to see the point of view of someone from the outside who was single and then later became part of a couple. And she was able to understand that, regardless of whether she's married or not, that's not the kind of behavior she wants to have. And I believe that's what it's all about. When we get married, we have to change some things. It's natural for us to change some things, but we have to be careful with our behavior. You know, treating others badly, judging others, believing that just because I'm married now, I can't have this single person in my house, because otherwise something will happen. And already planning to make up a whole drama in your head then.
Criar uma rivalidade ilusória.
Guys, you have to be careful with that, with imaginary rivalries. Believing that the person is there because they make you feel safe, you know? And if you feel that way, the best thing is stay alone, stay single, go discover yourself as a person, go love yourself as a woman, go understand what it means to value yourself before you commit to someone and end up losing yourself completely in your behavior. Because you're in a relationship, if you've also been through this, with rivalry in marriage, with being single, if you've been a victim of aggression too, because it was almost aggression, right? Throwing a drink is basically physical aggression, right? Send your story to Antar Historias canal and we'll discuss it on Abodime. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video.